there workers' comp?
Now we are going to move on to lunch. Tim, can you read some of the caption that are on the yearbook?
Hoping that's my lunch. Mystery. Oh, let me start up here. I'm just gonna read everything. Chapter 2: Coven Courtesies. Mystery meat, awkward eye contact, and a little bit of magic. And then there's a picture of a lunchroom. It looks like it's outgrown by plants and some fungi, but I'm hoping it's some good fungi. And then I'm seeing a ton of random assortment of foods. Pretty sure I think those are jalapenos. See some sort of cheese wheel, cheeseburger, tomato, and then I think an onion or garlic or both.
So, lunch was served in a beautiful cafeteria that felt more like a restaurant. Sunlight pouring in through tall windows, seating options that range from high stools and glossy bars to plush booths tucked in quiet corners. It looked like it could comfortably seat 75 students, maybe more, and yet, just like this morning, the only ones present were your collective group of 24, and the resident assistants from each house. Well, most of them. There was one face not known to our fated four, likely the RA for Equinoxia. She looked younger than some of your classmates, standing confidently at 5'7", with box braids wrapped in a tight high bun. But make no mistake, her presence matched that of the others from her house, well-groomed, calm, and cut with something sharp. She moved like someone who didn't need to say much to be respected. Given that this was your first lunch, the RAs were extra attentive, pointing out where to scan your phones, how to confirm your purchase, and for the first time, you got to witness the full extent of your Motorola Razr in action. When you opened the SSS app, a dollar amount was listed at the top of the screen. As you hovered it over the scanner, 3 food options lit up. The $5 meal, a mystery meat sandwich, overcooked string beans, and warm juice box. Barely a struggle meal. The $15 meal, a hearty portion of roasted chicken, seasoned rice, and sauteed greens with a sparkling barley soda. And the $75 meal, a plated seared steak with truffle mashed potatoes, enchanted gold leaf salad, and sparkling elemental water. So, please check your inboxes for how much money you've been allocated for the week. Based on your background and circumstances, choose your meal accordingly. But also, I would like to hear how your how your character reacts to their essential budget. So, Tim, here you are. Misty, here you are. And then Cain, here you are. One second. Staff. Faculty, here it is, notes. Alright, here are Cain, here you are. And Bentley, here you are.
And we can react to how much we got.
Yes.
We are going to be big balling first day. The meal that I was given was not satisfactory. We gotta make up for it.
Cain, having thrown up breakfast, is very hungry and excited to eat, and he looks at his phone, sees the influx of cash, is like, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom 1. Thank you, Mom, Dad 2. Thank you, Mom 2. Thank you, Dad 2." And continues about his day.
She gets her amount and she is kind of like thinking how she has to, like how often they get paid or whatever. So she's probably just gonna get something simple for lunch.
And Tim?
Tim looks at his balance and he says to himself, I've eaten 3 things so far. I've eaten some good ravioli that made me feel sick. I've eaten nutrient tablets. And I've eaten half a stack of pancakes. I've pretty much had a whole menu of items. And at this point, he's not afraid to try anything. So he looks at his budget. He says, you know what? How bad can this be? Now, can I just, real quick, does it specify overcooked green beans in, like, the menu?
It looks overcooked. Like, you can
To
see
make
it.
sure. That would have
You can
been
see
the
it's
biggest
dry,
jab.
dry and stiff.
It would be a huge jab if they were just like, yeah, you're getting overcooked green beans.
Definitely getting
And the
overcooked.
juice boxes, it's like they're in a fridge, but it's probably like the broken fridge, so they're just, or they just.
I'm
put 'em in.
sorry?
They were spending so much time cooking the $75 meal that they're like, oh fuck, I forgot to put the juices in the fridge, so you go and grab them.
That's
but it's still, like,
insane.
it's still
For $5, it can't be that bad. Worst case scenario, I learned my lesson for next time.
Mhm.
So that's what's going on in his head.
Okay, so can you all put into your little tabs like what meal you get and say aloud which one you're getting to, so you could track your budget. Starting with Bentley.
Bentley is getting the $75 meal. He says to himself, it's been a really hard day and a half. You've been assaulted by birds. You've earned this.
Cain, as previously mentioned, very hungry. He's hoping that the food will help remove this hunger and not only have to consume blood. So he's gonna take the $75 meal as well.
Misty is going to get the mystery meat for $5. And what else? No, that's it.
Tim is also gonna get the $5 mystery meat sandwich with the green beans and the juice.
As the students scan their phones, meals materialize before them, perfectly tailored to their species. Some dishes oozed with raw meat, others pulsed with blood, and a few shimmered with capsules and grains. Nutritionally, everything was covered, but what felt truly strange was the visible divide. The way your meal instantly revealed your socioeconomic status, if the person chose to reveal it. Some plates were lavish and towering, others were simple and sparse. For the first time, class was literally on display. Some students naturally gravitated toward each other, forming quiet clusters at booths and bar seats. Bonds formed in class, or late-night whispers guided their choices. There was comfort in familiarity, even if the day had only just begun. Of all the people present in the lunchroom, it should be noted that Sarah is nowhere to be seen. However, after assisting all the students with getting their lunch, it should be noted that Elian mentions to another RA that they'll be delivering food to someone soon. So, review students. So, who does your character choose to sit with during lunch and why?
Are these the tables? Like the
Yes.
rows are the tables?
The rows are the tables.
That's insane.
Interesting. Looking at the graphic. Bentley's gonna sit with Quinn and Imani because they know they're gonna see Kai later today.
You're sitting with Quinn, Imani, Jasper, and Ava.
Yeah.
Okay, say all of them.
Okay. Bentley's going to go over. They know that they're going to see Kai later that day, so they're not too worried about getting that time in with them. And they see the table at the very top of the presentation has two Viridorian housemates of them, Imani and Quinn, and then there's Jasper Flint, and it's going to be. Can you refresh me on the pink-haired one?
Ava and Imani. The way you said Jasper's full name, like
Jasper
dropping, bro.
Jasper Flint and Quinn. Like what?
And Ava.
All right. Cain.
Fuck. I don't want to sit at that table. He is going to. Give me 1 second. Let me see something real quick. Oh, that's an intimidating table right there. Yeah, he's gonna sit with Ezra, Salem, and I believe that's Delilah.
Yes.
He wants to sit with Ezra because he knows that him and them are going to share the dark magic class. So he wants to see what the kind of just want to build a rapport with them.
Misty is going to sit with Marcy, Silas, and Zeke.
And Tim.
Before I'm gonna choose the table with Romaine, Rosalind, and Cambria, but I'm gonna walk over to Salem's table real quick. I'm gonna tell her, say, hey, sorry to interrupt you guys, but I'm gonna go sit with Romaine. If you need anything, just text me. He's not the biggest texting type, so I'm gonna go see what's going on over there. And then I go sit with Romaine and Cambria and Rosalind.
Salem completely understands. Roman does have those issues. Go ahead, bro.
Robin does have those issues.
Alright, so starting with Bentley, you get to the table of Ava, Jasper, Quinn, and Imani, and you got your plate, you sit down, you rub your hands together to eat, and the first thing you hear is that they're talking about the RAs. Specifically, hottest to most forgettable.
Ooh.
Ava stirs up and she is adamant. She's like, look, I'm just saying the hottest one is definitely not Kieran.
Ava.
To which Quinn is going to say, I don't really know Vexlin. I think she's from like Equinoxia. But definitely top hottest person I've seen so far. To which Imani is going to be like, oh my god, like, guys, those are people. You can't sit here and put them on a ranking system. Like, I don't know, like it's a tier list. To which Jasper says something along the lines of, oh, like, Vexlin, she's like really cute, but like that hair, I don't really like that style. And everyone looks at him collectively. And Imani's just
Damn.
like, so like, what, you don't like braids? And it goes over his head a little bit, but he notices everyone's looking at him. And he's just
That's
like,
for money.
I don't like that hairstyle. It's a personal preference. Bentley,
Jasper.
you walked into a situation. How would you like to address this?
Bentley sees Jasper being crucified at the stake over there, and this is like, I haven't really met the other RAs, but Elion was really nice, and the girl with the green eyes is really pretty too. I haven't really met anybody here who's unattractive, so I feel like this is kind of a hard system.
Ava is going to... So, Bentley, what's your opinion on braids?
I think they I got two in my hair right now. Is that bad?
No, it's just, Jasper said that he doesn't like braids, so I guess he doesn't like black girls. And Jasper's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not what I said. That is not what I said. And Imani is going to be like, well, that's what you implied. Like, you could have said anything else. You could have said, like, you know, she's not your type. Or maybe, like, I don't know, maybe you're into men or something. But you specifically said, like, I don't like that hairstyle. Which is traditionally a hairstyle that black girls wear. And Jasper's, like, scrambling. Jasper is scrambling. He's like, no, like, I'm just saying, like, I would, she doesn't need to hide her hair, you know. I would prefer if, like, she, like, wore her natural hair out, you know, the curls. Right, Bentley?
Oh, uh, um, my mom said I'm not allowed to tell a woman how to dress, but if that's how you feel, then I guess that's how you feel, right?
Jasper sees that he can't really save himself from this conversation, especially sitting down with, like, 3 femmes, so he keeps his mouth shut for the rest of the lunch.
Damn, Jasper.
He fucked up. He can't save
Damn,
himself.
Jasper.
Imani's giving him an
Accidental
earful.
racist.
He's gonna be removed from the Healed Girly chat and
Oh no! Jasper,
He's no longer a heel girly.
he got canceled.
yeah, Jasper's getting canceled.
Oh man, it's like the first day in the lunchroom. Oh,
Alright, so next we have Bentley Cain, who chose to sit with, where did you choose to sit again? With
Ezra, Salem, and I believe that's Delilah.
Okay, so you join the table and they're gossiping about which RA.
No way.
Which RA might secretly be a legacy student. Salem says, look, like, Elian's cool, but he's way too kind to be normal. He has to be at least 50, you know?
Jesus.
To which Ezra takes out a notebook and they have a list. They're just like, okay, so I've been gathering some information on all of the RAs over the past 4 years and their ages. And
Sorry,
when
what?
you look at the paper, it is quite detailed. Like, did Ezra sleep last night? And no, this is the wrong one. Delilah is just suspicious of them all. She's like, hey, honestly, I think they're all just adults with the glamour on that look like kids to keep us in line.
What an insane conversation. Cain approaches, sees like Ezra's 4-year worth of notes in a span of a day, and that's what like shakes him the most about this. About this is like how do you even know about the other RAs? Like this is probably the first time you saw the other 3, unless you were exploring the grounds last night. And so he approaches with his like little tray of food and goes, "Wow, Ezra, you wrote a lot of notes. But if I had to guess, it would probably be Kieran. His vibe just feels too Draconia, if that makes sense."
To which Ezra is going to be like, yes, I got that vibe as well. He was talking as if he was centuries older than he actually was. Which supports Delilah's claim that maybe they're in an age glamour to, I don't know, get in close with us, gain our trust, and then Salem's going to lean in and say, control us?
He goes, we should watch our backs around these RAs.
And your lunch is a whimsical conspiracy chat on how Solstice is just trying to keep you down so that they can power big magic off of
Your big magic.
after the labor of their newly acquired students. Next, we have Misty, who has chosen to sit with Zeke, Silas, and Marcy. And as you approach that table, they are debating the legitimacy behind magical beauty spells. Silas is for them. He's like, if you have the capability to perform magic and you are unsatisfied with your appearance, why not just fix it with magic? To which Zeke says, well then, do the people that you interact with, are they interacting with you authentically, or are they just in love with the magic that you're projecting? To which Marcy is going to say, well, I was born beautiful, and if I
Jesus.
happen to find a magical beauty spell that just helps people understand that, because I understand people have preferences, and that can be a challenge sometimes, but a little magic could help them see things my way. And at that point, if you don't think it's authentic, you're just jealous of my glow. Marcy, what do you have to say on the topic?
Misty. But, I don't see anything wrong with enhancing with what you already have. I mean, I don't see the need for me to use it, but no judge to anyone who wanted to.
Marcy is going to say, you're currently using a glamour right now, because isn't it hiding what you truly are?
This glamour was put on for not only me, but for everyone else. I'm pretty sure we're all wearing glamour.
So if you had the option of being yourself, or the glamour that you're currently wearing, you would be whatever supernatural creature you are.
Yeah, I just don't know how to turn it off. I didn't even ask how to.
You know, Zeke sees, like, he takes one look around the table and he sees, like, Silas, who is agreeing with, like, just fabricate your appearance if it gets you where you want to be. Marcy also on the same vein, and then Misty agreeing. And he knows when he's lost an argument. So he's just like, you know what? I just know that when the glamour spells or the beauty spells does come out, I'll just have to steer clear of you three.
He about to leave all your group chats. He said y'all untrustworthy.
Z said, I don't fuck with makeup. Makeup's a
Zeke
scam.
said no
He said
filter.
makeup's a scam.
Show me something natural.
Well, he said that the glamour comes off, he's gonna stay away from us.
So he's saying that all of you seem to be in favor of using a glamour spell if it's available to you. And his argument is that you shouldn't use a beauty spell because then people are falling in love with your beauty, not who you actually are. And all three of you kind of just said, like, yeah, whatever, like a beauty spell is a beauty spell. So now he's essentially saying, like, oh, okay, well, I guess you guys aren't into authenticity. Or, like, love me for me, y'all are love me for what I have type scenario.
Misty. Okay, hold on. I need to gather my words for this to make it make sense. Because it's not like she chose the glamour. She came in and it was already on her for whatever reason. So, in the same breath, yeah, she doesn't care if someone were to, like, wear glamour and whatever. But that's not... She would also want to see the person without the glamour. She'd be willing to take off her glamour right now. But she knows she gonna scare everybody in this room right now if she takes it off. Because no one's ready to see that. Nobody's ready to see all that. So, I guess... I guess to Zeke... Hold on, pause. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So how would you explain to Zeke that, like, maybe later on in the day she would take off the glamour if it meant them, like, getting close to each other? Like, I'm just trying to, like,
So
make a friend.
you're asking for like suggestions on how our characters would tackle it and like our thought process?
Yes.
Okay. So in that conversation, it was a back and forth about like I don't believe in beauty magic because people aren't treating me for myself. They're treating me for what they think I am. And then your opinions around the table differed, but all of them kind of at its base was like, nah, just wear the beauty magic because people will treat you the way you want to be treated.
Mhm.
So what are you saying to Zeke? What are you trying to say to him? Is it like, oh, I think I'm wearing this right now, so yeah, I believe in it to an extent, but if everyone was comfortable with what I was, I wouldn't have to wear it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Just say it like that. Like, oh, like, I'm a more intimidating species. I feel like this is helping me get along with everybody, but once we all know what's happening and we're comfortable with each other, I wouldn't have to use this.
For you, for like Marcy and Silas, they kind of like use it to. They use it more willingly. From what
Mhm.
you're explaining, Misty's using it as almost like a necessity, or she believes it's a necessity. So you can kind of like say that, like if to like what she's saying. If you felt like you wouldn't push people away, you wouldn't be using it.
It kind of sounds like Misty and your table mates basically are like talking about it almost for vain reasons, and it kind of sounds like you're trying to separate yourself from them because you're not doing it for vanity. You feel like you're doing it because you have to.
Yeah, there's a difference
Yeah.
between you and the other two.
Okay, so, let me make sure this makes sense. So Misty would explain that, the glamour that she has on now is due to the fact that she believes her species is very intimidating. So it would be hard to approach or to be approached just by the glamour. But if she were to get closer to the people that she wants to be, she'd remove her glamour with no problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, DM, I would like to translate that to Zeke and to the table.
Okay, so you translate that sentiment to Zeke and the table, to which Marcy is going to say, see, she gets it. You use the glamour to get close to people, and hey, after that, it's history. To which,
God damn, Marcy.
to which Zeke is going to say, like, yeah, but like, you know, it's whatever. It's whatever. Fine, just use your glamour. Now, we are going to... Tim is sitting with Cambria, Romaine, and Rosalind. And they're talking about which professor might secretly be dating someone.
Bruh.
Cambria.
The gossip.
Cambria is like, it has to be Ethan. It has to be Ethan. Any other professor would have just said, no, you can't date the professors. But he said a nuance. He's dating someone. Romaine is just like, oh, I absolutely agree. 100%. It has to be Zone. Probably not from our year, but like he had a vibe. Rosalind is leaning in and she's just like, yo, in 24 hours or less, I could probably procure actual receipts to gain evidence of which student he is likely dating. Tim, you're coming to check in on Romaine. And this is what you come in on. How do you respond?
Interesting conversation to come in on. Now, I don't know who is dating someone, but I know my RA just seems a little too professional, so I could definitely count her out.
Oh, we're not talking about RAs, we're talking about professors, says Romaine, a little bit too into this like gossip.
All right, well, I missed that little bit of context, but I've only seen 2 professors so far. Ethan, he seems a little. I don't even know if he's a professor, man. That he just seems too. It seems like you just send him to do everything. So I just feel like he's kind of like a message boy. That's all I'm saying. As for the teacher I met into what's it called? Magical or mystical. I'm not doing really good at these classes here. Let me tell you right now. A rabbit hurt my hand today. I started off so good, and it didn't end so well. But that teacher, he seemed pretty cool. I don't think he's dating anybody either right now. I think he's a little too chill right now. I think if anybody's gonna date him, they're gonna come to him. And it doesn't look like he's looking right now. He's too focused on harmful animals.
Not looking right now is a crazy thing to say. I'm like, not looking right now is a crazy thing to say. To which Rosalind is gonna be like, you know what? That is fair. And Cambria is going to chime in. Dinah, where are you getting these fucking gifts from?
I'm making them.
She's making these.
It's too good. I love the whole big X, like big pharma, big car, big. It's just. It's like the piece de la resistance of jokes. Continue.
To which Cambria is going to say, you know what? That's fair. We've only collectively probably seen 5 professors. Let's bring back this conversation at the end of the week and really pick up on the vibes, and then we'll continue. And I'm sure we will all come into agreement that Ethan is dating someone.
Jesus.
And they all nod in agreement. This is something they will actually be working towards figuring out till the end of the week.
Somebody did ask him about dating professors earlier today, and he answered that a little too nonchalantly. So you guys might be onto something, but I'm gonna hope that he's he isn't doing any of that.
Roman said, "That's what I said." And you continue this lunch basically with this shenanigan conversation with the 3 individuals who seem to be way too into their professor's personal life. And a soft chime echoed through the cafeteria, signaling the end of lunch. Conversations cut off mid-sentence, trays were cleared, and students exchanged quick glances as they prepared to move. Like clockwork, resident assistants gestured towards the halls, prompting everyone to rotate into their next class. Some walked eagerly, others hesitated, but all were swept back into the rhythm of their strange, magical school day. Which takes us to Cain.
Yay.
About the solo list.
I'm about to disappear into a void, bro.
Ooh.
Cain, could you read the yearbook caption?
Yes. The lights dimmed, and so did our sense of safety. But we were thrilled. I don't know who this we is.
You signed up for this.
Mm.
Which brings us to Cain's unique class of the day, dark magic. The room was dimly lit, its walls lined with shadowy runes that pulsed faintly in the low light. Cain stepped inside, joining a small cluster of familiar faces. Ezra sat, legs crossed and arms folded, Zeke leaned back in his chair with quiet intensity. Jasper scanned the walls like they might speak to him, and Delilah stared blankly ahead. Sarah arrived fashionably late, slipping into the room with a smug smile. No one said much. Tension sat in the air like a held breath as they waited for their professor. There is an empty chair in the front of the room. Cain, does anything stand out to you at first glance? And moreover, do you feel emboldened? Sorry, do you feel surprised to see any of your classmates alongside you?
You know Ezra's gonna be there. You see someone like Zeke, who's Equinoxia and super strong, and you're like, you wonder why he may be here. Um, Sarah, who was gone from lunch and kind of has expressed a lot of distrust vocally in common courtesies. You can see why she's here. Um, and he's a little uneasy. He chose this class because he thinks it'll help him understand himself better. And he also thinks that it may not be like he believes it to be intentionally vague because like what really is dark magic. So he's tense but curious but a little nervous.
From the shadows, a figure emerged at the front of the classroom, kissed softly by flickering light of nearby candles. Their appearance was unexpectedly vibrant, cloaked head to toe in silver holographic material that shimmered with every slight movement. The outfit caught the light like glass, a radiant contrast against warm brown skin, giving the eerie illusion that they were more outfit than person. What little of them remained visible stood at about 5'8" and looked to be around the student's age, youthful yet composed. They stepped forward with grace and clarity, their voices both calm and commanding. "Hello," they said, a smile touching the corners of their lips. "I am Professor Jorian Fellhart, formerly House of Magitecra, and I'll be your instructor for dark magic." They surveyed the room, their gaze steady but curious. "Let's begin with something simple," they continued. "Tell me your name and what comes to mind when you hear the words dark magic." So Cain, would you like to be the first to answer, or would you like to wait until some of your classmates answer?
He would wait a little bit. He wouldn't be the first.
Ezra will answer, "Dark magic, I think of things people are too afraid to understand. Power drawn from the shadows doesn't make it evil, just makes it hidden." A curious answer, laced with empathy after their introduction. Would you like to answer now? Or is there someone in particular you want to hear out?
No, he'll go after his housemate Ezra has gone. And kind of in a similar sentiment, but with a different meaning, he'll go, I think it's commonly misunderstood, and I think there's more to it than it just being shadows or darkness. I think there's in lack of a better word, like a compelling way to cast with something like dark magic.
After the collective provides their answers, Professor Fellhart offers each of them a slow, approving nod as their answers echo in the low-lit space. "There is truth in each of your answers," he says, voice smooth and unhurried. "But the most important thing to remember is this. Dark magic is truth without filter. It is selfish in nature. It manipulates forces others would rather ignore. Fear, death, shadow, sorrow. The things polite magic would rather pretend don't exist. In any scenario, if you choose to cast dark magic, the world will assume one thing, that you wish to serve yourself first. If others benefit, that's incidental. Keep that in mind should you choose to use it irresponsibly. Professor Fellhart paused, letting the weight of his words settle across the room. The flickering candlelight dances across his holographic attire, casting fractured rainbows on the floor. Let me be clear, he says, voice quiet but sharp. Each and every one of you, even those who haven't stepped foot in this class yet, has the capacity to kill. You can end a life with elemental magic. You can command a beast to maul, or devour in magical husbandry. You might even brew the perfect poison in potion brewing, should you choose. Dark magic is no different than any of those. Do not misconstrue the name of this class for the intentions of others. People blame the magic, but dark magic doesn't change you. It lets you act on who you already are. Cain, after hearing that dark magic is about truth without filters, do you feel drawn to it or wary of what it might expose in you?
I think Cain feels a little more drawn to it. Cain, even though, he hears the professor saying, like, each type of class has the potential to be quote-unquote evil and murderous, and just because dark magic kind of is more about truth, that kind of sits well with him because he has no intention of being a murderer or killer, and he wants to just get to know the magic more deeply.
Professor Fellhart paces slowly to the edge of the room, resting one hand gently on the back of the unoccupied chair up front. This chair belonged to someone, once, not long ago. Last semester, in fact. They were seated right where you are now, full of questions, ambition, and yes, a spark for dark magic. He lets the silence stretch for a few seconds, candlelight flickering across his reflective attire. And yet, they're no longer here. Before I tell you why, I'd like to hear what you think happened to him. Cain, what do you believe happened to the student who once sat in the chair? Or would you like to hear some of the answers from a particular classmate?
I would love to hear what Zeke has to say.
Zeke speaks up and says, they made a choice, whatever it took, for power, revenge, something selfish. Anyone else?
Yes, Jasper as well.
Jasper says, they isolated, lost themselves. No one noticed until it was too late. Would you like to provide an answer of your own?
Yes, I think King goes, maybe he was scared of what truth the dark magic was showing, and he tried to fight it, and it might have consumed him.
Professor Farrellhart listens silently as the students share their guesses about the empty chair. Once the room stills, he crosses his arms and provides an answer. The student is no longer here because they saved their mother, he begins. Before they enrolled at Solstice, their mother had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. In their desperation, they cast a summoning spell alone, without my help and without proper protection, and made a deal with the celestial being. A few students shift uncomfortably. The celestial offered to end her suffering. They agreed, and it did, by ending her life. But the agreement didn't stop there. That being returned in the night and took the student too. You see, the second part of the deal was that he would carry out her pain. From now until, I would assume, eternity. I can't say for certain because not even the headmaster has found a way to pull him back. He's not dead, he's alive, and in agony. Every moment since this past spring. Sarah whispered something soft under her breath, a sentence that wouldn't have been captured if not for Cain's newly enhanced hearing. If someone promised me a day without pain, I wouldn't have asked questions either. Fellheart lifts a finger, and before you tell yourself I'd never make a deal with the devil, understand this. It was an angel who did this. That brings us to your first assignment. A vibrating sensation pulses through the student's left hands. Slowly, each fingertip darkens, black from the nails to the knuckles. The mark of the devil, he said, calm as ever. A false mark, one you'll bear until the next class. When people ask, tell them the truth. You've been practicing dark magic. Watch how they respond. Write it down. And next lesson, we'll talk about who flinched and why. Now, a final exercise, quiet now. I'd like each of you to write the thing you fear dark magic will bring to the surface. A secret too raw to speak. No one will read it, but you should know it. Cain, is there anything about this assignment that feels too close for comfort? And could you tell us whether this class is your primary, secondary, or tertiary? But most importantly, can you provide me with a perception roll?
Okay.
Perception roll.
Perception roll. Perception is intel based, Max.
Bet this guy has bad intel.
No, it's pretty decent. Okay.
Ba-doop. Nice.
Okay. This is, if I remember correctly, just to double check I'm not lying. Yes, this is his primary class. He chose this class, like previously stated, because he wants to, he thinks it'll help him understand himself better, and that seems to be correct. He hears Fellheart, he sees the mark and is somewhat worried because he says mark of the devil, then he says a false one, understands the, logistics of it, and understands why it's a lesson. And when he says that he should write down what he fears the most, what truth he fears the most to be revealed, Cain writes down, it might be a common fear, but for him it's deeply rooted because he's never been this, and he writes being alone. He comes from a big family. So he was never ever in a place where it was just him. And even with his old small group of friends, his close friend Alice kind of made sure that he never felt like he was in the dark or not part of the group, even though he wasn't very extroverted. And even now with someone like a friend like Silas and even Ava, it's just like he never wants to go do something alone, and so he writes that down.
Okay. So, the weight of the assignment was far heavier than Cain expected. There was something about this room, something in the air, in the flicker of the candlelight, that made it impossible to keep his fears tucked away.
I saw that!
This space demanded honesty, even when it hurt. And Cain could tell he wasn't alone. Ezra had curled into themselves, staring out the window as if searching for an escape. Zeke scribbled hard into the paper, shaking his head and letting out the occasional awkward laugh, like he didn't believe what he was writing. Sarah stayed small, her head down, shielding herself from the moment, and Jasper leaned back, hands behind his head, eyes locked on the ceiling, avoiding everyone, especially himself. And Delilah fidgeted, pulling out a compact mirror, choosing vanity over vulnerability. Yet amidst it all, Professor Fellhart stood calm, untouched by pressure. Whatever this room stirred, he had already faced it, and won. The bell chimed, and in a blink, Professor Fellhart vanished into the shadows from which he came. Every candle in the room extinguished at once, as if exhaling the darkness with him. The suffocating weight that had pressed into their minds lifted, replaced by light. The room looked normal again, painfully so. Students exchanged uneasy glances, unsure if what they'd felt had been real or imagined. Without a word, they quietly gathered their things and slipped out, leaving the silence to reclaim the space. Did Professor Fellhart cast a spell, or simply reveal the curses that already haunted them?